Yo, we are live on a Friday, which is normally, in my opinion, I think Friday is the best baseball day betting wise. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, absolutely. Most options, everybody's playing. New series, who doesn't love that?
And I also love, new series is a good point too. I also love how all the games start in like a 3 hour span. I'm not a big
Yes.
fan of like,
I'm not a fan of the staggering either.
yeah, I mean, during the college football season, I almost want to put out 3 tickets, like noon games, 3:30 games, 7 p.m. games, 10 p.m. games, because I hate that. But Friday, it's compact, it's beautiful. That being said, this is not my favorite Friday. I wish I had like a hammer to give out. I have a few that I like. Not. It's kind of underwhelming as far as the Friday goes, and I know to promote the show, I should probably be like, I got locks tonight. That's just not the case. So we got 15 games to go through. So actually 14. This one already happened. Did the Cubs end up winning that? I saw they were up 2.
They're up 12-0. So
12?
yeah,
It was 2-0 when you say 12.
I believe it's 12-0. Let me go and confirm. Yep,
Holy
it's 12-0. Top
shit.
6.
It was 2-0 when I saw 12-0. Good for the Cubs. We should have bet that shit, man. All right. Let's move on to game 2. Reds at Pirates. And we start out with one of my, I wouldn't say one of my favorite bets, but one of the bets I'm cool with. I'm excited to play this one. This one is Reds money line. Let's see what it's at now. I know what it was at earlier. Plus 130 on Bet365. Okay. Starting off with a plus 130 heater here. All right, so Reds money line. I know we took a swing and miss on the Reds yesterday, but they almost came back and won. That sucked. In fact, if it wasn't for that stupid, what was it? The batter interference on the steal that fucked
That
us?
was ridiculous.
Oh my
That
god,
was ridiculous.
Yo.
I mean, I watched it back today, and that Austin Hedges is a friggin' flopper. I've never seen.
Well,
such
okay,
acts
like
from the
okay,
MLB
so
before.
if you want to call it batter interference, whatever. How does that result in 2 outs? Whatever. I'm wasting time and I'm rambling. I'm sorry.
Baseball.
So I like the Reds because Graham Ashcraft is pitching. Not Graham Ashcraft, as Prop Beaver always likes to say. Graham Ashcraft. This kid's got a 5.9% barrel rate on the season. That's 27th in Major League Baseball, compared to a 12.1% barrel rate from Mitch Keller. Guys are hitting the ball hard off Mitch. And I like Mitch Keller. I wouldn't blast him if it wasn't if the numbers didn't indicate that. The Pirates lineup career off Ashcraft are just 7 of 30 with only 3 extra base hits. It's got solid numbers against this lineup. And if you're thinking, oh, well, the Reds bullpen will blow it, because in years past, the Reds bullpen have blown a lot of shit. Well, not only is Cincinnati's bullpen been better than the Pirates bullpen, Cincinnati's 18th in WOBA in the last 2 weeks compared to 25th for Pittsburgh, but it's better rested as well. Colin Holderman threw 26 pitches last night for the Pirates. I doubt he's available. Their closer pitched last night also, but I think he's available. But, yeah, I'm on the Reds. I think this is a great price.
Yeah, also on the Reds here, I can't even believe that you didn't even mention the splits. I mean, do you have any respect for Mr. Ashcraft? The main reason to back Graham Ashcraft.
Well, the reason I didn't mention
it
it is because there's not a ton of lefties in the Pirates lineup.
There's about 6 usually.
What? I saw 3 when I looked.
No, you must be looking at the wrong roster then, because there's no way. There's 3 lefties in the Pirates lineup. Anyways, enough of your nonsense. Through 38 at-bats against lefties this year, Graham Ashcraft has allowed 2 hits. 2. He's posting a 143 WOBA, a 21.1 K to walk rate. I mean, he is looking excellent right now. The stuff plus is there as well. On the other side, we got Mitch Keller, who I love, but he doesn't have the best history against this team, and he's got a 17% walk rate against this Reds lineup. If you watched the game yesterday, I personally thought the Reds were playing better than the Pirates. It was really just 1 4-inning from Luke Weaver to start the game that put them in a 4-0 hole, and the Pirates didn't do a damn thing afterwards. I think that Ashcraft's in a spot where he should deal today against a lineup he's had a lot of success against, and I believe that the Pirates bullpen is starting to trend down a bit. So at the plus 130 price, it's hard not to side with Ashcraft here and play it sharp.
For some reason, the comments aren't showing. I think it's because originally I had the NBA show lined up for 3 p.m. and then I switched it to 4:45. So maybe the comments are lined up to go to that. Whatever. Sorry about that. All right, next game. Game 3. White Sox at Rays. I mean, there's no reason to waste time on this. I wrote Rays or pass. Obviously,
Yeah.
I'm not betting straight up. I'm not betting the White Sox on the road against a righty with Michael Kopech pitching. He leads the league in barrel percentage. This dude has been getting rocked. No way. But at the same time, the price on Tampa is getting expensive, and I'm not going to lay 1.5 with a home team.
Yeah, I just don't like Michael Kopech at all whatsoever.
He sucks.
And then in terms of having to back Tampa at minus 220 with a bullpen day, like, yeah, pass.
All right.
Got to pass there.
Next up. Detroit at Baltimore. Give me the Tigers. And I hate the price of this, but I like the bet. I do. I do like it. So Michael Lorenzen has one start this season, and it was last Saturday, and he got hit into another planet. He let up 8 hits, 2 walks, and 6 earned runs in just 4 innings of work. That's a 2.5 whip. That's Madison Bumgarner territory. But it's just one start, and he's a righty, which is always good when you're pitching against Baltimore. And the Orioles just coming home from a road trip. They haven't played an above 500 team in 2 weeks, so their value is probably at an all-time high. I mean, that's what happens when you play bad teams repeatedly. People think you're better than you are. So this is more like, I think we're the Pirates. I think the Tigers are undervalued here, and this plus 1.5 and minus 135, I think is just great value. I think it's a good price.
Yeah, I mean, although the Tigers lost their last game against the Guardians, despite having guys on in the 9th, failed to grab the win there, they've now covered the run line in 7 straight games. They're now facing a Boston team that, despite being way more talented, is playing similar levels of baseball over the last few weeks. We're talking about teams that are 8th and 13th in WRC plus against right-handed pitchers, and bullpens that are 3rd and 4th in WOBA. Now, Lorenzen did look awful in his first start, but I think this provides value from a pure overreaction spot. He had several road starts in 2022 where he looked awful, but he also had several where he shut down the opposing offense. Most of this Orioles lineup is yet to see Lorenzen, and if he can generate some whiffs, like I know he can, I think that he has a chance to have a decent start here. On the other side, we got Tyler Wells, who I love. I'm a Tyler Wells guy. But I cannot avoid the fact that he's been absolutely shelled both times he's played the Tigers thus far. 0-2 record, 10.3 ERA, 2.14 whip. And at home, going back to 2022, he has much worse numbers than on the road. So I think the Tigers can continue to keep fighting, and at a decent price, well, at an okay price, with the whole run in our pocket, I like the chances for Detroit.
You just said this phrase, I'm a Tyler Wells guy.
I'm a lot of guys.
I'm a guy's guy. Mm-hmm. All right, next.
I support the underdogs, the lesser known guys.
Blue Jays at Yanks. I'm down to take the Blue Jays either way here. I know you just took the full game, but I'll type both on here. I'm down to take the Blue Jays money line or the Blue Jays first 5. Why did I type out Blue Jays? Fading the Yankees in Yankee Stadium with Kikuchi on the mound? That sounds crazy. Not a ton of data for this one, but I do like fading the Yankees against lefties, but it's tough because it's Kikuchi, and he's so streaky and unreliable. And the Yankees' numbers against lefties aren't nearly as bad as I thought. They're not good. The Yankees are much better against right-handed pitching, but they're not as bad as I thought they would be. They're 17th in WOBA against left-handed pitching, so slightly below average. But at the same time, I do not trust Domingo Germán at all. I know he looked great in his last start, but he was cheating. That was the game where the ump made him go wash his hands. I guess it's cool if you're a Yankee, but if you're a Met, you get tossed and suspended. I'm just kidding. I know that it was different circumstances. Please don't start that in the comments. But other than that start, so Domingo Germán had one great start when he was quote-unquote cheating. Other than that, when's the last time Domingo Germán had a good start? You got to go back to when? August of last season? I mean, this dude is just anything but reliable. And by the way, in addition to the alleged cheating, it was also against the Twins lineup, who at the time wasn't hitting anybody. That was a slumping Twins lineup. Minnesota's lost 4 of their last 5, so I shouldn't even say at the time. That's still happening. That slump is still happening. So yeah, August of last year, I have it written down. At the end of August of last year is the last time Domingo Germán had a solid start, in addition to the one that just happened. So I don't trust him. I'm on the Blue Jays, plus money. Let's go.
Yeah, I just like playing it sharp here. All the money's on the Yanks. The line hasn't moved since last night. And personally, I'm just not going to buy into the Germán hype. I mean, he looked excellent last game. There's no denying that. But we know just how whiff heavy this Twins lineup is. They whiff at one of the highest rates in the league. The Toronto Blue Jays are not that. And if he's not generating whiffs, then I think a lot of guys are going to get on the bases here. Yes, he allowed just 2 runs over his last 9.1 innings, but that was against Cleveland and Minnesota. 2 wildly inconsistent bats that sit bottom 10 versus right-handed pitching thus far. Toronto, top 6 against righties, and they have knocked in 6 home runs through their last 13.2 innings against Germán. In those 3 starts, Germán was 1-2, 5.27 ERA, allowing 4 home runs per 9 innings. Now we're getting him coming off what was, I mean, that has to be the best start of his career, right? I mean, he looked legitimately unstoppable. He's coming off the best start of his career, and we got Kikuchi, who last year was a mess with his command. Now a guy who's walked just 3 batters through 3 starts. So if he can limit the walks, then I think the Yankees are going to have trouble hitting him. And he's performed well at Yankee Stadium before. So at the plus price, it's hard not to side with the Blue Jays, fade the public there.
I feel like Kikuchi's name adds to... because it's like a funny name to say when he's doing Kikuchi, and then when he's pitching poorly, it adds to it. Like, oh, fade Kikuchi. But there's actually been times where I've been cashing Kikuchi bets over the last couple of years. So
when he's on, he's on.
I feel like he gets a bad rap, kind of. Anyway, moving on. Rockies at Phillies. I mean, I put no way. Yeah, so Phillies are just crazy expensive. No.
And I just don't like Aaron Nola.
Yeah, true. Marlins at Cleveland. I'm on the Marlins here. Miami money line plus 118. Give me the fish at plus money. So, in case you haven't heard, Cleveland's bats have been non-existent recently. They're 25th against left-handed pitching, 24th against right-handed pitching over the last 2 weeks. One of the worst lineups in the league recently. And their last 6 games were against Detroit and Washington. So it's not like you could be like, oh, they've been playing some tough pitching. No, they haven't. No, they certainly haven't. And it's not like you could say, all right, maybe Cleveland's bats just struggle on the road, and they're back at home now. Can't say that either, because Cleveland's just 2-6 at home this year. The bats weren't alive at home either. I don't trust the Cleveland Guardians lineup. I do think that Zach Plesac is a little bit undervalued, but not enough to get me to lay minus 155 juice. Braxton Garrett off to a solid start. Young lefty that Cleveland's never ever faced before. I think he's going to pitch well. And by the way, what's that?
Nothing. No, continue.
And as Toast was been saying in our comments, Marlins have sneakily become one of the hottest bullpens in the MLB, and they're fully rested. So give me the fish.
Yeah, so what I did for this one is I morphed my pick with Kyle's pick and made a monstrous SGP. And I actually like it quite a bit here. So we're going with the Marlins plus 2.5 runs, and we're going with under 9.5 runs. He likes the Marlins. I like the under in the game, so let's go into why.
What's right the odds?
Minus 120. Right now, we just have 2 red-hot bullpens entering this game. We have 2 good bullpens entering this game. The Cleveland bullpen's struggling a bit right now, but is good season long, while the Marlins are entering this game red-hot. The keynote is that both of them are well-rested. So I like that for an under angle. On top of that, both of these bats have been absolutely horrendous thus far. I mean, we've seen that the Miami Marlins bats are bottom 5 through the first 5 thus far in most hitting categories. And then we've also seen the fact that Cleveland over the last 2 weeks is bottom 5 against lefties in most hitting categories. Really what I think this game will come down to is the bullpens. And as we said, Miami's bullpen is surging right now. Cleveland's bullpen is taking a little bit of a dip. I think it's going to be a pitcher's duel the entire way, which sounds crazy with Zach Plesac and Braxton Garrett on the mound. But Braxton Garrett, I respect quite a bit. And Zach Plesac, I don't have nice words to say about him, but I think he could pitch decent in this spot. So at minus 120 to combine two bets that I think have a great value of cashing and add even more value to it, I like it.
Yeah, I'm down with that SGP. Next. Houston at Atlanta. A little bit of a disagreement here, but kind of not really. So I'm on the under, but I also like Houston. So I'll put Houston money line. What was it at? Minus 101 or something?
Yeah, plus 100 on BetMGM.
Oh, okay, cool. Plus 100. So I'm pitching the under, but I also like Houston. So right off the bat, you got two starting pitchers that the casual baseball bettor isn't going to know. Bryce Elder, Hunter Brown. The casual person opening up DraftKings or FanDuel, going to place a bet, is going to look at these two pitchers, see Braves, Astros, two good lineups against two pitchers they don't know. That should jump this total up a half run or so, maybe even a full run. So I feel like we're already getting value there just from having two unknown names on the mound. Now, as far as those two unknown names go, they've been pretty good, especially Hunter Brown. Hunter Brown's got a 4.2% barrel rate. That's 18th best amongst starting pitchers in Major League Baseball. The Braves lineup has never seen this kid before. And then you got Bryce Elder on the other side. Now, admittedly, he did have a bad start. He just got rocked by KC. He did just have a bad start. But his two starts before that to start the season were excellent. He's got a 6.2% barrel rate himself, top 40 amongst starters. So despite these two starters being unknown, they're both throwing well. And also, both bullpens are good. In fact, the Braves bullpen is first in Major League Baseball. It's been the best bullpen in the league over the last 2 weeks, according as far as WOBA goes. And both bullpens are completely rested. So yeah, I'm all over that under. If I had to lean aside, I'd take Houston because I like Hunter Brown better than I like Bryce Elder, but I also like the Braves bullpen better than I like the Astros bullpen, so it evens out a bit. But I'll take the under first, Houston second.
Yeah, I just like the Astros in this spot. I think both pitchers can get hit up a little bit, but I really think that it's going to be Bryce Elder who really struggles today. I don't know if I said Bryce Elder. I don't know. Elder. Elder's
What's his
expected.
name?
I think it's Bryce Elder.
It's
I don't
Bryce
know.
Elder.
I blanked on his name real quick. I don't know. I blanked real quick.
It is Bryce Elder. You had me second guessing it now.
Elder's expected ERA is a whole 2 points higher than his actual, and the guy has allowed a 48% hard hit percentage. To have a 48% hard hit percentage and a 1.53 ERA is a literal oxymoron. That's not sustainable, and the guy is due to get absolutely rocked. And while the Houston offense hasn't been as potent as usual, they are the lineup that could get to him because they start 7 right-handed batters. And against right-handed batters thus far, Elder owns a terrible 410 WOBA, 380 opposing batting average, and a 205 whip. I think he's going to get let up here. I really do. I think that the Astros could get off to a hot start and hold the lead. After ending an 8-game winning streak, the Braves just dropped an 0-1 loss to the Padres in which they mustered 4 hits. I think we could be catching them on a way towards a regression streak. I like Hunter Brown a lot. He's the number 1 prospect for Houston. He's done nothing but put up elite results in this league thus far through 6 starts. Add in a Houston bullpen that I think is better than it's shown, and a Braves bullpen that I think is worse than it's shown. And I like the value on the Astros at the plus price.
Sounds decent. I think you're talking off Bryce Elder. Toast hates Bryce Elder. I was talking to him on the phone before. Hates Bryce Elder for some reason.
Yeah, and I was talking to him too, and I think he makes a lot of sense.
Nah, Bryce Elder I think has a decent outing. Oakland at Texas.
You just fall in love with these lucky guys who are not good, like Eric Lauer.
Oh my God, 1 Lauer start and you've completely bailed on him.
Lucky ducky.
Lucky Lauer.
Lucky Lauer.
A's at Texas. I want to bet this so bad, but I'm putting this up. This is more of a lean than a bet. Oakland first 5 plus a half run at plus 112. The thing is, the Rangers are way, way, way too overpriced here. Sure, they're home against Oakland. Yes, they should win this game. But their numbers against left-handed pitching they've just been so bad recently. In the last 2 weeks, the Texas Rangers are just 27th in Major League Baseball in WOBA against left-handed pitching. So, yeah, do I think the Rangers will win this game? Of course. But how can I lay that kind of juice with a team that's been one of the worst lineups against lefties, against a lefty starter? Especially a lefty starter that's shown us little flashes that he can be pretty good. That wasn't an endorsement on JP Sears. I know he's still overall probably fade material, but he's not complete trash. So if I had to bet this game, I would take Oakland first 5 plus a half run at the plus money.
Yeah, I know that totals are ringing me around the rosy right now. I've been on the struggle bus, especially during the last week with them, but I'm going with one here that I like quite a bit. I'm going with the Oakland, Texas first 5 under 4.5 at -110. And as I said earlier, the unders, they're giving us the beats lately, but I'm not going to quit on them and cost us profitable opportunities. So here's why I like it. A's bullpen's going to fall apart and let the full game over cash. I could already see it in my head. But through the first 5, I think we have a really strong case for a low-scoring affair. Sears has not been anything special thus far, but I've said the word 80 times, command. He has command. And he's walked just 2 batters through 3 starts thus far. That's exactly what I want to see. He's now going to face a Rangers lineup that's 23rd in WRC+, 25th in ISO, and 26th in OPS against lefties over those last 2 weeks. They've been limited to 3 combined runs through the first 5 against the 3 starting left-handed pitchers they faced, and the first 5 under is 3-0 in those starts. Sears faced Texas twice last year. In the first start, he came in and completely shut them down for 0 runs. In the second start, he got rocked. But that was just 2 starts later, and that repertoire was still fresh in the Texas bats' mind. I think that this season, this is a nice spot where he's going to be coming in, obviously change a few things over the offseason, and he could surprise us Texas bats that are coming off a 6-game road trip. So they could be in a little bit of a flat spot here. On the other side, we got John Gray, who's looked solid thus far, and then we don't even need to go in how good he was at home last year. Add in the Oakland bats are just miserable, and I like first 5 under. I know that Texas and Oakland can get into some high-scoring affairs in Texas. We've seen it before last year. We've also seen 1-2 games in Texas last year. I think this is going to be more so one of those, and I'm looking to target overs in the next 2 games.
All right. We are on to Game 10. Boston at Milwaukee, and I really don't love this at all.
Yeah, I had to take it off from a value.
No, it makes sense.
It was just getting ridiculous.
It makes sense why you took it off.
Yeah.
But I will share my angles because I do think the notes are good. It's just
oh hell yeah.
Did it just freeze? Oh no, we're back. Okay.
No,
so I think the notes are good. It's just like Milwaukee coming back from the road trip really scares me a little. My main angle that I liked here was Peralta against the Red Sox lineup. Red Sox slightly below average against righties, and they've never seen Peralta before. Now, this is the downside of the new MLB scheduling. I'm not like speaking against it, whatever. I like if the people that work for the MLB in the marketing department decided this was better for baseball, who am I to challenge that? But you get a game like this where you have an 8-year veteran and a 6-year veteran, and we have no data. If you got a guy who's been pitching in the league for 8 years and he's starting against a team, you should have data of that team against this guy. But now with the new scheduling, we're getting teams like the Red Sox and Brewers who never play each other. So that's the downside. The upside is we get to watch Freddie Peralta pitch against a really mediocre Red Sox lineup that has never seen his stuff before, and his stuff is fucking crazy. He's got crazy stuff. That's my angles. I think Freddie Peralta, the first time through this order, will mow them down. In fact, this is probably a bet. If it wasn't for the stupid Milwaukee returning from a road trip, that scares me.
Yeah. Dude, it's a killer, right? 10 games is a long time.
I know. It's a long-ass time, coming up on 2 weeks since they played a home game. If it wasn't for that, I'd be like Milwaukee first 3, Milwaukee first 5, and be all over it. Especially because I love fading Pivetta.
Dude, I don't like him either.
Dude, it's like he's so mediocre. Like, he's so mediocre.
One thing I will say is that shocked me. Pivetta was actually 15th in Stuff Plus last year, which is I don't know exactly what the metric is. I got to find it out more. But from everybody I know, who I respect, knows Stuff Plus, which is why my ass needs to know it. And all I know is that Pivetta last year was top 15, which shocked me.
Stuff Plus doesn't even... Fuck that. Stuff Plus doesn't even sound cool. Some of these... You know what Toast said to me on the phone? Some of these metrics don't even make sense. So he was saying like, yo, but he was talking about Bryce Elder actually. And he was like, yeah, but his hard hit rate is terrible. And I was like, dude, I'm looking at it. He's got a 6.3% barrel rate. And he goes, oh, no, that's different. I was like,
I think it is because technically what the barrel is that it's hitting that barrel of the bat, while the hard hit, you could hit it at the end of the bat extremely hard. And that's a differentiator in terms of that being a double or a home run. So I could see what he's saying there.
Sounds like a bunch of horse shit to me.
All right. Next game, you clown.
Washington at Twins. I like the Nats. But I also realize it's fucking insane to tell you to bet the Nationals on the road. So here's where, if you want to tail me on this, I will be betting this. If it's not on the ticket because he didn't like it. But if you want to tell me, I would say go with one of these. Washington plus 1.5 or Washington team total over 2.5. A big part of this is just a fade of Tyler Mahle. Yo, he sucks at home. We were fading him at home in 2021. We were fading him at home in 2022. And a lot of people thought, okay, well, maybe he's just terrible because he has to pitch at home in Cincinnati. And Great American Ballpark's a terrible place to pitch. Okay, well, then he goes to Minnesota, and his home starts since he got to Minnesota have also sucked. This dude just can't pitch at home. So that's why I am on Washington as far as the team total over. As far as Trevor Williams goes, I think this guy's undervalued. He's been pretty solid in all 3 starts. He hasn't been great, but he's certainly not Patrick Corbin, which is kind of where I'm seeing people value him as. He's not like the ultimate fade lord. He's okay. He's a decent low-end starter. He did struggle in road starts last year with the Mets, but his only road start this year, he pitched great. He went into Coors Field, not the easiest place to play, pitched into the 6th inning and allowed just 2 runs. So I'm down with backing Trevor Williams to an extent. Now, obviously, Minnesota has the advantage when it comes to the bats, but the Twins just started hitting in the Boston series. You go by the last 2 weeks, they're 20th in the MLB in WOBA against right-handed pitching. I'm not scared of the Twins lineup based on one series. So, yeah, I'm down to back the Nationals these 2 ways. I'll probably take the team total over because, like, am I going to be surprised if the Twins put up 8 runs here? Probably not. But I'll probably not the Twins. I'll probably take the Nationals team total over 2.5. That's probably, the bottom one is probably what I'll go with.
Yeah, I'm just going to pass here.
Sounds good. Next game. I'm passing just because Ohtani's always overpriced. The Angels will win. I'm sure he'll dominate, but everyone bets the Angels, especially at home when Ohtani pitching. So the price is a reflection of that. Just shoots up.
Yeah, I like Ohtani to record a win at minus 115 for a half unit. The KC bullpen's absolute river trash. The Angels bullpen has been top 10 this year. And the arms that went yesterday for them were not some of their key arms. I like the ones that are still yet to go and are available for this game. Ultimately, minus 115, and they're minus 300 favorites. What? Ohtani's an animal. He barely pitched last start. He went 2 innings. So I could see him going 7 here. And as long as they're leading before that point against Taylor Clark, who has a career ERA of a starter above 5.8, then I think that, yeah, he's going to record a win here. So at minus 115, I think the value is ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, as far as bets on this game, that's probably the best bet. But, yeah, next. Padres at D-backs. Yo, if I was to bet this one, now I wrote down skip. And the reason is because 2 of Zach Gallen's last 3 starts against the Padres have been ugly. If this was a year ago, I'd be down to play the shit out of Arizona against Arizona in this spot because Zach Gallen's, if you look at it as like his first 6 or 7 career starts against Padres, it's pretty good. And then it's just gotten bad. So I really can't back that. What I can back is a fade of Seth Lugo because I feel like he's gotten a bit exposed. Anyone who doesn't know Seth Lugo he was the setup man on the Mets. He wanted a starting spot in the rotation. Allegedly, the Mets didn't want to give him a shot. He goes to the Padres. He gets a shot in the starting rotation. Comes out in his first start with the Padres and pitches great. at home against the Rockies. And I was happy to see it as a Mets fan. I like this guy. That being said, my UPS carrier could probably throw 3 or 4 1 or 2 hit innings against the Rockies on the road. So, and then since then, it's been downhill. So, I think I like this one. When I told you this on the phone, you didn't really react to it, so I was like, okay, I guess he doesn't like it. But I like Arizona team total over first 5 over 2.5. It's at plus 120. And I know the Arizona bats, especially against righties right now, I don't know. And over 2.5, it's not over 1.5. But I think Lugo's been exposed. I think Lugo's a one-inning guy. I think the Mets had it right.
I mean, I got to be completely honest. I don't really remember you saying that to me.
I definitely said it because I have it typed out. And I pulled it up on OddsJam on the phone with you. That's how I know I said it.
Oh, must be positive UV. Anyways, let's talk about the Arizona first 5 team total over. I'm good off playing it. I think it has some nice value, but I'm not really all that crazy about this game, so I'll just pass.
Okay. Well, you can have the floor for this one because I don't like this one at all.
We're going sharp here. Everybody and their mother is on Seattle today. I've seen it in articles. I've heard it from people I've spoke to. I've seen 90% of the money on Seattle since 11 p.m. last night. And guess what has happened? Guess how the books have reacted to potential one of their biggest liabilities of the MLB slate. They have dropped the odds on Seattle, making them easier to bet. The books have an angle here, so let's work with them, and I'm willing to do so. Because if we look at splits from last year, Kirby was not good in home night starts at all whatsoever, posting a 5 ERA or above in most of those. And then on top of that, Matt was only good pitching at night last year, where he saw a 2.1 ERA. So that already makes me think to myself, okay, maybe that's what they're looking at. But then I dug a little further. Mariners right now, they remain top 10 in most major bottom 10 in most major categories against lefties. And the current lineup owns just a 678 OPS against Mats through 30 at-bats. Kirby's a certified stud, and the Cardinals have struggled against right-handed batters lately.
Wait, what's the bet so I can have it on the screen while you're saying this?
The Cardinals' money line, plus 112. They're going to win the game.
That's so sharp, bro. I respect your nutsack for betting
minus 122. They have Kirby favored at minus 122 through the first 5 after Steven Matz has essentially gotten demolished in all 3 of his starts. And Kirby's looked awesome. What is this, charity case Friday?
Nah, dude, I mean, I love it. It's so sharp. It's like, yo, that's the sharpest shit I've seen in a while. It's ballsy. I love it.
Yep, let's go Cardinals.
I'm going to go click on the comments right now, see if everyone's... Stay away betting on the cards. It's not profitable. All right, anyway.
I mean, you can make that argument about most teams up to a certain point in
I know.
time.
At every point in the season, some team is not profitable, and then they become profitable. Mets at Giants. I know. You go ahead, because I actually stopped after the 14th game because I had that podcast before, now this, and then I have the NBA show after this. So I've had a loaded afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, this is just getting ridiculous. I've just been sitting on the sidelines while the Mets just continue to keep pashing, and I've had enough. I mean, the books just simply have no clue how to price this team. It's getting flat out ridiculous. Last night was a beautiful spot to back them. The books take a huge stance, doing reverse line movement, and it sucked. It was a horrible stance. The Mets beat the living shit out of the Giants. I think it's the same thing here today. Yeah, Joey Lucchesi hasn't made a start since, I don't even know, probably 2021. But the guy's a lefty, so it doesn't really matter. He throws with his left arm, and he's facing the Giants. So that right there is pretty good to me, because the Giants have consistently proved to us that they cannot hit left-handed pitching. On the other side, we got Anthony DeSclafani, who, I'm going to be honest, that dude looks awesome so far. I've watched all 3 of his starts, and he looks excellent. But we do have to look at the level of competition that DeSclafani has faced so far, because it is really bad. We're talking about a Tigers lineup that's bottom 5 against righties, a KC lineup that's bottom 5 against righties, and a Chicago lineup that is much better against left-handed pitching than right-handed pitching. Now they're going to face the Mets, a top 10 lineup against right-handed pitching, and that isn't exactly too ideal to me. I just believe that in terms of the bullpen advantage, the Mets have a huge one. The Giants bullpen continues to blow games, and at a plus price, I don't really care how public it is. You got to just keep riding with the Mets here.
Yeah, I'm down with it. As soon as you told me that on the phone, I was like, that's cool with me. Like, They want to keep giving away money, then let them. All right, that's it for this. Damn, I don't even have the graphics done for the NBA show. I just realized. Holy shit. All right, so for the NBA, give me about 15 minutes. I'm going to need some time to get this ready. I mean, I have my notes ready. Maybe I should just tweet them out. No, come on. Give me about 15 minutes, and I'll be back for the NBA. It's just, I don't want to talk about NBA games when there's baseball logos on the screen. It'll look crazy. So give me about 15 minutes, and I'll be back to share my NBA stuff. Thanks again for watching. A lot of sports on tonight, and this weekend, to be honest. It's just a loaded weekend. The Tank Davis fight is tomorrow night. Can't wait for that. So let's have ourselves a good one. Remember to bet responsibly.